President Rodrigo Duterte calls on Filipinos to reflect and unite this Holy Week. In his message, the president says Filipinos must pause in the spirit of contemplation and unite as one people to build an equitable and inclusive nation where everyone can enjoy a decent and comfortable life. He adds, as we reflect on Catholic values, we must remember to always help and uplift the downtrodden. Today is Palm Sunday, the first day of Holy Week, and thousands of passengers begin their trips to the provinces. Authorities are not letting up with their safety inspections in light of the deadly bus crash in Mindoro. Our Makoy Popioco is in Cubao. Makoy, how are authorities making sure fatal road crashes are prevented this time?
Hi, my transport regulators are cracking down on colorum or vehicles without permit, and today they deployed personnel in bus terminals here in Cubao. And here at the old Araneta bus terminal, for ordinary buses, passenger Christopher Pebrero was complaining that his bus trip was postponed several times today since this morning, and he showed us a copy of the poorly printed ticket, which does not even bear the name of the bus line. And he says when he started following up with the bus company, it could not be reached anymore. He suspects he was scammed.
Sabi naman po na kulibok na yung filtrang ko. At saka dito ka lang sasakay kasi sister company po ito ng filtrang ko. Kaya nangganyo rin akong kumuha ng ticket kasi gusto ko rin makauwi ng Mindanao. Ang binayad ko po ay 2,200 po. Tinatawagan ko po kanina kasi schedule na ngayon. Ang sabi niya na yan lang ang bus, tiis-tiis lang tayo.
Authorities helped Pebrero file an official complaint. They're also helping him reach the operators of the bus company. Once they prove the bus company doesn't have the necessary permits, their units could be impounded. Authorities also remind travelers to book tickets only at bus terminals. Stricter road safety checks are also implemented. Authorities barred 2 St. Martha buses from leaving the terminal. Upon inspection, authorities noticed their tires were worn out, but the buses were allowed to change their tires so they can travel to Albay province. Apart from tires, authorities are also inspecting the brakes, seatbelts, and signal lights. Mai.
Makoy, how is the surge of passengers there today? Are there enough buses to bring them to the provinces?
Well, according to terminal management, around 2,000 passengers arrived here in this terminal alone today. Now, operators say bus lines bound for Iloilo, Antique, Aklan, and Capiz are already fully booked until Wednesday. But there are still trips for buses bound for Bicol and Samar provinces until tomorrow. Now, bus operators advise passengers to arrive here earlier tomorrow to get the first dibs on ticket sales. Mai.
Makoy Popioco reporting live from Cubao, Quezon City. Passengers are also heading to seaports. The Philippine Coast Guard has recorded more than 66,000 passengers nationwide as of 12 noon. Most are traveling to the southern Tagalog region and western and central Visayas. The Coast Guard says so far no unusual or untoward incidents have been recorded. The police and military are on full alert this week, even with no imminent threat. Security measures are in place and all officers are on duty round the clock.
Besides ating physical target hardening, physical security na naka-in place yung physical check-up ng mga gamit na papasok at saka individuals na papasok sa mga malls or sa mga churches. Meron din tayong intelligence, pinaigting rin natin yung ating intelligence operations, yung pagbumonitor sa palibot ng ating mga operative.
Toll operator SMC Tollways is ready for the huge number of vehicles this Holy Week. The company expects a 10% increase in volume for the Lenten break, so it will mobilize all operation staff, additional toll collectors, ambulance tellers, and traffic management personnel. Booths will be set up to provide free mechanical services and vehicle checkups along the Tarlac, Pangasinan, La Union Expressway or TPLEX, the South Luzon Expressway or SLEX, and Star Tollway in the south. This is in partnership with Petron Lakbay Alalay. President Rodrigo Duterte calls on Filipinos to reflect and unite this Holy Week. In his message, the president says Filipinos must pause in the spirit of contemplation and unite as one people to build an equitable and inclusive nation where everyone can enjoy a decent and comfortable life. He adds, as we reflect on Catholic values, we must remember to always help and uplift the downtrodden. Millions of people around the world joined this year's Earth Hour. Here in the Philippines, hundreds gathered at the CCP complex to join the ceremonial switching off of lights. Makoy Popioco has more.
Simple switching off of lights can make so much difference. That's what Worldwide Fund for Nature believes, prompting them to start Earth Hour 11 years ago.
Ang dami nga nagsasabi, bakit 1 hour lang? But it's a celebration, it's symbolic. At the same time, for us to remind everybody that, taking care of the environment is the whole year.
This year, the 1 hour of darkness is a call to protect Earth's biodiversity from the harmful effects of climate change.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
At 8:30 in the evening Saturday, the Cultural Center of the Philippines Lights and Fountain Show was switched off. The entire CCP complex went dark for 1 hour. So was other parts of the world. Around 7,000 cities from more than 100 countries participated for the cause. For those who joined the event, it was their way of saving Mother Earth.
Mahalaga yung Earth Hour kasi sa isang oras makaka-conserve tayo ng energy tsaka masisave natin ang kalikasan.
Umaasa po tayo sa electricity na sa buhay natin, everyday life. Lagi tayo nakaasa. Kaya tayo nagkaka-Earth Hour para malaman natin kung ano yung life na walang elektrisidad.
Happy Earth Hour!
WWF President and Chief Executive Officer Joel Palma says what matters the most is what people do after Earth Hour. He encourages them to do simple things at home, at work, or in their community to help conserve the planet.
We only have one planet. At the end of the day, right now, we're consuming 1.7 planets. So we're running on a deficit, no? So kailangan talaga that we have to be conscious, reduce waste, we reduce consumption, and use it efficiently, for the future generations.
People can also continue to raise awareness by joining the conversation on social media by using the hashtag #ConnectToEarth. Makoy Popioco, CNN Philippines.
Still ahead, as Lent begins, Catholics are having their palaspas blessed this Sunday. With it, a reminder from the Church. And CNN Philippines talks to Boracay locals as a proposal to close the island looms. Those and more stories when we return. Stay tuned. Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us today. We have so many stories. One is the update of Makoy Popioco from the bus terminal in Cubao. Mag-ingat lang po sa biyahe even as authorities are doing their diligent inspections of buses to make sure they're road worthy. in light of, remember, nagkaroon nga ng malaking aksidente doon sa Mindoro just the past week, ano? And also, the message of President Duterte to reflect and unite this Holy Week. Tell us your thoughts on the President's message and also your, maybe may mga reflections kayo, pwede nyo i-share sa amin, and your comments sa mga stories ngayong gabi. Mamaya po, I'd like to greet many of you. May mga bumabati na. Sana may time pa later, ano? But we only have 10 seconds in this gap. Stay tuned until the end of the show. This is the newsroom on CNN Philippines. Welcome back. Catholics are gathering in churches to have their palaspas blessed and to reflect on Jesus Christ's suffering. Our Zian Arcangel reports on the message of the church to the faithful.
At dawn of Palm Sunday, devotees gathered in churches for the blessing of their decorated palm fronds or palaspas. At the Manila Cathedral, hundreds attended Mass to commemorate the arrival of Jesus in Jerusalem, marking the start of Holy Week. Father Reginald Malikdem, director of Manila Cathedral, says in his homily the faithful should be like Jesus and appreciate the beauty of silence. He says Jesus barely spoke since Pontius Pilate condemned him to die up until his crucifixion.
He could have used his powerful words in order to defend himself. But why did Jesus choose to be silent? Jesus was silent because out of love, he gave himself wholeheartedly. He was silent because of his determination to follow the will of God.
For Catholics, Palm Sunday is the time to start reflecting on Jesus' sacrifice before going on a pilgrimage on Maundy Thursday or Good Friday.
Balik loob lang kay Lord sa mga pagkukulang.
Ito yung talagang tradisyon namin for the family to celebrate. Siyempre kung ano man yung binigay sa atin ni God.
It's acknowledging the kingship of God, Jesus Christ, and it is one relevant and very significant celebration of the Catholic Church.
Meanwhile, some believers say they will hang the palm fronds inside their houses as a sign of welcoming Jesus.
Nilalagay po sa harap ng pinto, tapos inaano rin taon-taon ginagawang abo.
Nilalagay namin to sa door namin. It's a sign, it's a sign of welcoming Jesus Christ.
While the commemoration of Holy Week is usually a family affair in the Philippines, Father Malikdem says the faithful should also take time off alone to reflect on the passion of Christ and the value of his resurrection. Cian Arcangel, CNN Philippines.
Now, a developing story. Fire hits a residential area in western Bicutan, Taguig City. Our Trisha Terada joins us on the line for details. Trisha, tell us the situation there.
Yes, Mai, that's right. A residential area here at the TUP compound in western Bicutan, Taguig, is currently on fire. Residents are saying that the fire broke out around 2 p.m., but we have yet to get actual confirmation from the BFP on this. But what's clear is it's still on fifth alarm, which was raised past 4 this afternoon. It looks like firefighters really had a hard time, or really having a hard time putting out the fire, because the areas leading to the actual site are quite narrow and cramped, making it difficult for everyone to get inside. Now, fire groups even had to split areas to go off to different rooftops to get the fire source, or to target the fire source. Problem is, at some point, they ran out of water, so residents have been scrambling to find more water supply. For some residents continue to vacate at this time, while a few others who live quite far from the burning area have already started returning to their homes. Mai?
Thank you, Trisha Terada, reporting live from Bicutan. This Holy Week is also a time for some to leave work and travel. One favorite spot, Boracay. But with the looming proposal to close the island, fewer tourists are visiting this famous destination. CNN Philippines Regional News Manager June Tariman has this report.
White sand, glittering clear waters, a blue sky. These are the reasons why tourists love Boracay. making it a top destination, especially during summer, starting this Holy Week. But things have changed now. A plane going to Boracay on Saturday wasn't as full, and the Caticlan Airport is seeing fewer tourists these days. This as environment issues hound the island. A month after President Rodrigo Duterte called it a cesspool, 3 government agencies want it shut down for 6 months, starting on April 26, the peak of summer. Boracay businessmen and vendors say tourism will surely take a big hit, with usual arrivals at 17,000 per day. Authorities have started dismantling structure built too close to the shoreline. Demolition notices are up. These outposts for lifeguards put up by local government also won't be spared. With the threat of closure, many are worried, including tricycle driver Edwin Marquez.
Kung wala pong Boracay, wala po kaming kita. Yun pong problema namin kung ipasara po yan. Siyempre, mahirapan rin po kami ng mga tricycle driver. Kung wala pong foreigners na mga turista na pupunta rito sa Aklan, sa Boracay, wala rin po kaming kita.
Some are actively taking a stand by having their shirts printed with the slogan, "Yes to clean up, no to closure." Some also joined the cleanup along the White Beach, the most popular stretch on the island. But some residents think the shutdown is for the best.
Decision po ng Pangulo natin, respetuhin na lang po. Although mawawalan po kami ng trabaho, pero kailangan naman po gawin talaga para malinis yung Boracay. Maghanap-hanap na lang muna tayo ng trabaho na pwede natin pasukan. Yung pabor naman kami dyan para mas ayos. Pagbalik naman yan, sobra pang babalik sa amin dyan
This year, Boracay still made it to TripAdvisor's best beaches in the world, ranking 25th in the world and 2nd in Asia. For now, tourists may still enjoy this world-famous island, even with its fate uncertain. June Tariman, CNN Philippines, Boracay Island.
In global news, hundreds of thousands joined protests across the United States to call for change in the nation's gun laws. Survivors of last month's school shooting in Florida led the movement called March for Our Lives. More than 800 demonstrations were held from Boston to Los Angeles and in different parts around the world. But the biggest crowd gathered in Washington as students, parents, teachers, and school officials took a stand against gun violence.
To those politicians supported by the NRA that allow the continued slaughter of our children and our future, I say get your resumes ready.
Now, we need to come together on all fronts and push aside those that divide us. Now we need to get on the phone and call our representatives and push them to stop incumbency and take action.
Many celebrities also joined the movement. Jennifer Hudson, Ariana Grande, Miley Cyrus, Demi Lovato, and Lin-Manuel Miranda showed their support. 17 people died in last month's Florida school shooting. And according to CNN research, that's just one of the 17 school shootings recorded in the U.S. since the beginning of the year. Moving on to lighter news, thousands attend the 12th annual Bike Festival, known as the biggest motorcycle show in Asia. Our Rex Remitio takes us there.
If you love these two-wheeled rockets, this roaring event wasn't one to miss. Some 20,000 motorcycle fans gathered at the World Trade Center in Pasay for the 12th Inside Racing Annual Bike Festival and Trade Show.
So bakit ka nagpunta rito?
Para maka-discount sa mga parts sa motorsiklo. Saka mga freebies.
Gusto ko lang makita yung mga bagong modelo ngayon ng motor.
More than 100 world-class exhibitors and brands showcase their best and latest motorcycle models. One of them, the motorcycle of the future.
This is a prototype bike called Motoroid. It can recognize its rider's facial features, balance itself, park on its own, and can be controlled via hand gestures even when you're not on it.
There's also the super bike used by world champion racers. It's also the most expensive on display, worth 20 million pesos. The event also became a venue for those who love making customized and concept motorcycles. Some of the prototypes look like robots, carrying small TV screens, while some were simply unique. This bike was particularly advanced as it had air suspension controlled by a smartphone.
Sample, may dadaan biglang speed bump, adjust lang natin. Wala tayong problema sa humps. Okay.
There's also one for Hello Kitty fans. Meet this cute scooter with a fancy sound system powered by an iPad.
Parang sa akin kasi, pag nakita ko yung mga bata na na, uy, ang ganda ng motor. So okay na, masaya na ako.
One of the creators, Michael Enriquez, came all the way from Zamboanga with his custom-made bike Kraken. He says transport authorities should allow modified bikes on the road since these are safe to use anyway.
Dapat may brakes, may lights, signal light, headlight, stoplight. Dapat po functional lahat. So, safe pa rin po gamitin.
Aside from the flashy motorcycles, discounts, sales, and raffle prices, it's also about new accessories. Who says airbags are only for car drivers? There's now one for bikers. It provides full protection for your spinal column, lower back, and hips.
So when you fall down, it will happen again. You ready? All right. So here, it comes to protect you, the neck over there, all the thorax here, the ribs, and all the back from the top to the bottom.
Organizers say the event also promotes safety, as motorcycles can help solve the country's traffic problems while preventing crashes.
I believe the motorcycle is really the easiest way to change a nation one person at a time. If you give him a bike, you give him hope, you give him pride, you give him mobility. You give him motivation.
They also believe more people, especially women, will use motorcycles in the future. That's why it's important as early as now to promote the benefits of riding motorcycles. Rex Remigio, CNN, Philippines.